Hello and welcome to another update video about AVAX. AVAX appearing to be very strong at the moment, and AVAX broke out of this descending channel to the upside. I still have my doubts about AVAX and about a sustainable breakout to the upside, and the reason is that even though it broke here out of that channel, it doesn't really mean too much yet. Yeah, we still haven't really crossed above that $98 level, that previous wave 4 high. That would be a very important level to get above. And also what everybody always needs to understand, that different cryptos, different assets throughout their lifetime, they have certain characteristics and they tend to repeat things. Yeah, generally a lot of people use fractals. Basically you cut out a piece of a chart from before and you add it to, or basically based on that, you try to work out what could happen next. And to be honest, that is not a bad thing, because patterns tend to repeat, like human psychology. Just, you know, it's just fear and greed, and it just repeats itself. You get these same patterns, otherwise you wouldn't have those Elliott wave patterns that repeat time and time again. And AVAX is doing something that it did before as well. Yeah, it basically seems to be that AVAX typically does a bit of an extended and more complex correction. So where other cryptos have already reached in their correction, down here, this 88.7% FIB level and the 78.6% FIB level, AVAX doesn't really want to get down there at the moment. But we had a similar situation before, and this is basically here. Yeah, so you can see this period here that lasted from February 21 all the way to May 21, where we had also here a peak in Feb 21, and since then it didn't really make a new high anymore, and that correction took a long time. And it seemed a bit like, you know, you had your first, let's compare it. So after your peak, which is basically that what happened here in November 21 as well, you had your peak, yeah, then you had a first move up, so we had our first move up here, right? Then you dropped down, you had a second move up, so this could be this one, and then you drop down once more, and then you had your third move up, and it could be the one now, and after that you rushed down. So I'm not saying this necessarily has to happen, but it just shows that AVAX did something similar before, where it took really a long time for AVAX to correct down after a pump. And my view is this could really be happening again. Yeah, generally what I just want to communicate here is that there are many other cryptos which are, with their indicators, they are just much lower. I mean, look at the RSI on the 8-hour chart. It was overbought. It is not overbought anymore, but we are here at 65. It's just really high, and that's why on the 8-hour chart you already see now the MACD bullish momentum coming down. So it's already decreasing the positive momentum. Here on the daily chart, for example, you can see that, yes, we are here also in the bullish range, but again, at 60, the RSI on the daily, whereas other cryptos are down here. So it just shows that in any uptrend now, AVAX would struggle, because AVAX would straight away be in the overbought range. So therefore, I always try to understand what is the risk and what is the possible reward. And at the moment, to be honest, yeah, in my opinion, there are other cryptos which are better value at the moment. Yeah, as much as I like AVAX, and I already bought AVAX as well, but I'm just holding off at the moment a little bit until my buy order levels are triggered, which are a little bit lower, because I just think other cryptos are better value at the moment. This will change as soon as AVAX is going to correct down, which I think is going to happen. Of course, and I have to say that nothing is moving in a straight line. And theoretically, AVAX could have completed the correction already, because it did an A, B, C. There is no need for it to come into this area down here. There is no absolute need, but it is likely. It is likely because it did drop here below the 61.8% FIB level that was back end of January. It did drop below it. Yes, it found support, but it's often the case then that eventually this actually gets filled and we're actually going to see that lower FIB level. And that's my view. You know, I think still also looking at the structure, what is coming up here. I mean, overall, you're still making here a series of lower highs. And as soon as we have a break in the structure, which means we're having a higher low, you have the higher low already, but then we also need that higher high. So to get that higher high, I would want to get the price above $100. Okay, but even then, my view would be it would be still, it hasn't corrected down enough. It hasn't corrected down enough for another major bull run. That is my honest view here. And we need to understand that we had a similar situation back here. That was early in 21. You also corrected down, you know, after you were overbought here on the daily, and then you had the price moving here in this bullish range for a while. You had your 3 peaks in the bullish RSI, and you have the same situation now again. 1, 2, 3 peaks, and my view is you just have to correct it down a lot, and that is not even that important for the for the daily chart. I think it's more important here on the weekly as well, which is at 55. And again, that doesn't mean it couldn't move up higher. It could, but I'm just saying that many other cryptos are lower. Okay, so this doesn't mean the project isn't good, and it doesn't mean the project couldn't in the short term move higher. Of course it could, but just generally my view here is that I'm skeptical, and I think the correction isn't over yet. Of course, in the short term, higher prices are possible, and these trades can always be done, you know. But my view, and it's a logical approach, would be, why would I buy now, where I have other cryptos sitting in my target area in these lower Fibonacci levels, where I know from experience that from there, in a wave 2, in which many cryptos are, including Avalanche, where many cryptos are coming down to, and the deeper a correction is, the more bullish it actually is. Of course, if it goes too far, it's gonna go to zero at some point. But no, between the 78.6% Fib level and the 88.7, that is actually super bullish, because it allows the price to bring down those indicators to a very, very low level, from where they can then move to new all-time highs. And Avalanche, unfortunately, a lot of people always think that these corrections, which are not that strong, are bullish, but actually the opposite is the case. Yeah. Typically, the more it comes down, especially in a wave 2, in my opinion, the better. Ideally to the 88.7, 78.6% Fib level, that would be ideal. AVAX hasn't done it yet. I think it's still going to come. It has to come. If it doesn't come, then yeah, then the upside potential will be limited. That's how it is. Of course, there is upside potential. Of course, there is. Could go all the way to 146. Absolutely, then no problem at all. But then, what is the risk to the reward? I think there is more reward in other cryptos then. But yeah, let's talk about key resistance levels. I mean, certainly, if you move here above this $90 level, I think then we can straight away we move to the next $100 level. That would be that wave 4 top. And if you break above that, then we can straight away move to the next Fib level at $118. And from here, then we can move to the all-time high. And what would be the key levels above that? Let's talk about it. We've got $185 is the 1.272 extension. I think that would be the first main resistance when we move up. And $232 would be the minimum target for that next wave up. So the next major wave up. Here, I'm not talking about every small little wave. I'm talking about a major wave to the upside, a wave degree, something that came up here from July all the way up to November 21. I'm talking about that kind of wave, okay? And we are still correcting it down. I still think we're doing that. Looks very similar to what we did earlier in 2021. Very similar pattern. And these patterns repeat themselves. Anyone who doesn't believe that, just take a look at the Algorand chart and take a look how the last 3 waves look virtually identical. So they just do it. It just does it. You know? So I'm still waiting for that final correction. I will remain stubborn, and I will stay here with my view. And therefore, I'm just a bit careful and think we're going to come down. Of course, you know, it's clear, as long as you are here above this descending trend line, you actually sort of broke out, you possibly retested, and you could move higher. But without the volume currently, and without really moving above that $90 level, again, you're facing resistance here. So as long as you're not getting above that, I think you're sort of stuck, and then you have a big risk of falling down lower again. But yeah, that $90 level is a key resistance. if you break it, get to 100 and the $100 level, then it's a huge psychological level. I think the price will struggle to get through it. If it does, then it will unlock straight away prices all the way up to 116, 117 US dollars. Now that's my view on AVAX. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.